Welcome to the Trailhead, where trails start and stories unfold.
One, two, three.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Now here's JD.
Doesn't need to be shifted over or anything like that. And basically, I'm going to take it back on the trail during Christmas break, and we're going to try to get used to driving it again.
We might have 2 Jeeps for Christmas.
Yeah, we're going to have
That's
all three.
Christmas. We don't need presents. We don't need anything.
We'll have all 3 in the house.
Oh my gosh, we'll have all 3 in the driveway. I will be.
I think you need to decorate them. And do they all have like LED lights that you can do some sort of synchronized light show on?
I have battery LED lights that I like to dress them up with. When
I think you can make it work.
Yeah.
I think you can make it work.
I've already got the green ground lights. I just need to add some red somewhere, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I have bypassed. An unnamed company wanted to send me some undercarriage lights, and I was very interested in them until I found out they didn't have anything that wasn't just warm white or cool blue. And I'm like, no, I gotta at least be able to tune it away from those 2 colors. So
yeah, but I do feel your pain on how long you've been without your Jeep. Misfit went in to get his double throwdown suspension on August 8th. He was out of the shop long enough for me to take him to Trail Hero. And then he was out of the shop for one more weekend just to go do Toys for Tots fundraiser, and I rolled it. So it's still good.
Yeah, I'm still giving you crap though,
shop.
because you had 10 days in Sand Hollow in between there. You got at least got a nice jump in.
I make it sound like Trail Hero was not that very much time, but we actually wheeled the shit out of it for 10 days straight.
Right.
See?
Then it went back into the shop, and it's been in the shop forever because.
And it was in the shop in July getting the truck bed repainted, and it was in the shop.
I mean, if this poor Jeep has been in the shop all year, and so, I am ready for Misfit to be home.
Yeah, we're ready for some seat time. So
we need a lot of
we're taking some shortcuts on the plans to get done. We were going to wrap it. Now I'm waiting till spring.
We canceled the wrap plans. We're like, we can't. I don't want my Jeep in any. Like, he's like, I can deal with the scratches. I can deal with the dents. I don't even think we're gonna. I mean, well, you're changing out the hood.
Yeah,
but we're just kind of rolling with it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the hood's not going to happen anytime soon, is it?
The way our paint shop works, I can take them a piece to paint on Monday, and I'll have it by Wednesday. So the long pole is actually the shipping, so I probably won't have it before Christmas, but I'll be able to get it done before.
It's fine. He can have dents. They're character for a minute.
Hey, I'm a big fan of trail tattoos.
It's starting to turn into a shit box already. It's got enough dents on the front now.
Join us in the shit box side. Like mine was pretty new one time too, and it's just not anymore. And I know what it's like to have a shit box. I've had all cycles.
I'm excited to see them in like 10 years. I think they're going to be cute.
You're going to be crinkled up tin cans.
There's a certain amount of freedom that comes with the shitbox designation. I'm not going to lie.
They're not going to even have side panels anymore. They're going to be like full roll caged, like
there's going to be metal panels to cover
panels to cover the dents, and then they're going to be like. I don't know what the hell.
Like Moto-Built's already like, we've got corner panel armor that'll hide those dents right there for you.
I mean, there is to this day the left rear quarter panel. Left rear quarter panel on my Jeep behind where my driver's or my license plate used to be. That has been dented in since about a week and a half after I brought home the Jeep and backed it out of the driveway and hit a small pole and just managed to crinkle it in a little bit. And I was like, son of a bitch. So plastic ruggedage, things to go in the corner. Look at that. That actually that tones down the yellow a little bit. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
It works out.
How's your Toyota? Is it together right now?
It's together. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Better question. Is it functional and or being driven as either a daily driver and or an off-roader?
Functional, yes. I'm not driving it right now, though.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Did you break it? Did you break yours too?
yeah, not on purpose. Yeah.
Yes, because
That
all
is
of us
on
were
purpose.
here.
Yeah.
I mean, none of these are on purpose.
Mine was on the
Looks
highway.
like to a lot of people.
Oh.
Gosh, that sucks.
That sucks when it's on the highway.
So it was a
Ooh,
fluke.
yeah.
Like it wasn't even a fun story. Like
They never fun stories on the highway.
no, it's something inside. I don't even know what the part is called, but something inside like the intake manifold. Toyota decided to put a silencer, like fan blade thing, inside of their intakes to keep the engine more quiet. It doesn't make a difference. Anyways, it's like this fan blade thing attached to a gear, and the gear is attached by like a metal aluminum bearing. And I was driving through Wyoming with like a couple people, and out of nowhere, my engine started like shaking, like bouncing, shaking. My truck started bouncing. And I was like, guys, something's going on. I don't know, like my engine's freaking out right now. And then out of nowhere, it misfired and then just turned off. And I was like, don't know what to do. Never had this happen. So it happened one morning, and we thought it was my spark plugs. Like we read the code and it said my spark plug 1 and 3 were misfiring. And we were like, okay, we can like kind of get out of here and we'll just change them at the next campsite. So we did that. And then it did it again. And it said it was, I think it still said spark plug 3. And we're like, that's weird. Well, maybe it's just like all of them are bad and it's just reading the 1 for whatever reason. So we changed all of them. And then my car wouldn't turn on. We were like, now what's going on? So it was a Saturday, middle of Wyoming, itty bitty town. I got super, super lucky that it happened in like the tiniest little town with cell service. And it wasn't
Lucky you had people with you too. Yeah.
And I had people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I called my mechanic and I had him on speakerphone. I think he was with us for like 45 minutes, to be honest. And he was listening to how it was starting. He was doing research and he was like, all right, there's this weird thing. It's not a recall. It's a service bulletin. So Toyota knows that there's this piece that's breaking and it's lodging into the cylinders, like into the piston, and it's getting in the engine and it's blowing motors. So he's like, there's a chance that this happened to you. And I was like, I don't like this. So we took it all apart and it was that. And I have a video and pictures of like the aluminum bearing got stuck in like one of my pistons. Like it just like crunched it. It didn't like crunch it, but it was like holding it. And so we all were like, okay, we have to get this out. And it took us 2 hours to get it because none of us had something long enough. And there was one Napa and one Ace, and they didn't have anything. And it was funny. It was a small town. So I just happened to pull into a car wash. It was the first pull-in that I could take before my car died. And it was a car wash. And this woman,
it's usually a car wash or an Arby's. Yeah.
Yeah. This woman pulled in to wash her car and she asked if we needed help. And she was like, oh, like our neighbor or our friend is the mechanic in town. Do you want me to call him and ask for help? And we were like, it couldn't hurt if we don't get it. At least there's something. So she like calls and calls. Right. And we're like, yeah, sure, whatever. She's calling. No one's answering. So she's like, I'm just going to go home and see if they're home. So the wife was home, but she found out that the mechanic and the techs, and I think the only other mechanic in town, all left that morning to go on a week-long hunting trip. And we were like, cool.
Oh, boy.
So yeah, as we were trying to like pull the piece out, she was trying to make phone calls to people. I was looking at tow trucks and motel costs. And the closest Toyota was 2.5 hours in like 2 different directions. So there was like nowhere for me to go. But my friend just happened to pull it out and the piston closed and we didn't get like anything in it. So we like pulled it out, cleaned it and everything. And then my car turned on and it's been running since. But now because that piece is out of the intake, now I have a vacuum seal leak and my engine is loud and it's still kind of bouncing. And I've been arguing with Toyota. Well, not so much Toyota. I've been arguing with service people, guys. I don't know what they're called.
Wait, what year is it?
It's a 2018. And
Okay,
it's
Yeah,
a
but
known
still, but that's
problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's a service bulletin. There's a known problem. My mechanic knows a few people who this has happened to. It's on like forums and all this stuff. And I'm trying to ask for the replacement part because Toyota made an upgraded replacement part, so this shouldn't happen again. I'm trying to ask for the replacement part, but I can't get past the service people, and they don't know what I'm talking about. Or they do know what I'm talking about, but they're saying, oh, well, we need to take your truck and do a diagnosis, but I can't tell you how much it's going to cost. And I'm like, I know
Yeah.
the diagnosis. This broke. Like, I just need
Yeah.
the replacement, and they're just not. So I'm going in
A
circles.
lot of times what you really need to is just somebody to say, look, we're gonna tell you up front it's a $200 diagnostic fee, but if we find out it is this problem, which we think it is, then
Yeah.
it's going to get waived. A lot of times they won't say that because they don't want to even hint that they might have actually had a problem. So
Yeah.
I've got some non-trailhead or anything related ways to you could potentially throw that up a flagpole. So give it a try anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So far, the furthest I've gotten, I didn't call today because I was busy, but the furthest I've gotten is I can talk to the parts department to ask more questions about the intake. A friend gave me his old intake because he supercharged his Tacoma. So he's like, I don't need this. And I was like, cool, but it still has the part that broke on me. So now I'm paranoid to put it in.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna
Makes sense.
know.
I'm just like,
I mean, yeah. Can you get an aftermarket part to replace the part that breaks?
and that's what I've been asking for. And all the
Okay.
service guys are like, oh, we don't know what that is. So I talked to one in Denver. I live in Phoenix, and my friend in Denver was like, oh, talk to my dude. And he gave me the part number, but I don't know if it's for the broken part or the new part. I'm still trying to like figure it out. But Toyota's the only one that like has the, I can't go anywhere else or ask for anything
If
else.
they barely acknowledge that it's a problem, they're really not going to mass market a part for it.
Yeah.
So
and
do you
whenever
need to
I ask,
supercharge it then? Just kidding.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing else they can do. I'm just gonna have to supercharge it.
I mean, you're already out of warranty here. If you follow my logic, then at this
Yeah.
point, anything's game. Like it's an opportunity to upgrade.
I'm totally
Yeah,
kidding.
exactly.
I am not kidding.
Yeah.
If you know, I am
Oh,
not.
I upgrade.
Nice.
Have you heard who we are? We upgrade everything.
Oh, I'm getting to know you. Yeah, I mean, this is only episode 14, but I'm getting there. I think I
Yep.
got it.
My
So
tie
back
rod
to
had
that-
a bent tie rod end. It got replaced with the better tie rod and tie rod ends.
I mean, at this point, we've talked about the Mopar warranty. Now that I've kind of shot that out of the barrel for the front end of the vehicle, I'm just Dynatrack, steer smarts. Like it's all getting upgraded now. It's time.
Yeah.
So that's my advice, Alyssa, is to spend more money you don't have, and just
Right.
it's a credit card. You
Why
can't take it
not?
with you. Yeah, you can't take it with you.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
can't get it once you're dead.
Especially for us, at least. I don't have any kids, so nobody's getting my debt after I'm gone. Do you hear
Well,
that,
did you
Capital One? Do you hear it?
Did you hear Pope's recent audio on his reel about like if you can burn $100 bill and not cry about
I
it?
saw that this morning.
Start building
Mhm.
your off-road vehicle.
Oh yeah, it's a
You
hard.
guys
It's
saw
a,
it.
It's the hard truth.
it was a hard moment hitting that button.
There's probably 2 more zeros that should be added.
Oh, I just don't think we want to admit it to ourselves. So if somebody's like, I'm going to make this $100 when I get the AI voice to do this for me. So
Mhm.
Yeah, if you could say a stack of $100 bills and not cry about it, then
like seriously, multiple paychecks, I think is the word I would go with.
right.
So, all right. Well, so like, everybody's doing great then. We all have vehicles that need work and we don't have money for. Awesome. All right.
Jen
Cool.
drove me to work and drove me home. She is doing fantastic. Well, she's going in next week for a little bit of like some stuff. And then she just has like a 2-day spa day at the shop. And then
Mhm.
she's coming home and we're good. And then we don't start her build until after we get back from winter 4x4.
Yeah, maybe just don't put a date on that until you're sure that you come back whole from Winter 4x4.
Well, they're doing a whole new suspension and a roll cage, so
Oh, so you have to turn it in at a certain time.
yeah, and it's got to be ready for like they're putting it in the expo and
Yeah, so
Rented Prius for Pope and Randy it is.
oh yeah, we have a rental company.
I've been renting Wranglers and Gladiators and Dodge Chargers from this place called, oh, I won't mention their name because they're not that big, but they're just up in Salt Lake and off the airport. And because they're off airport, it's like you can rent a Wrangler Sahara for $20 a day, or you can rent a Gladiator for like $11, a Gladiator Sport for $11 a day. Now the sad thing is you got to drive a Gladiator Sport, but it's
you're not going to find, unless you rent from an app like Turo. And this is my reminder for anybody listening that no, you cannot rent from Turo and then take it off-roading. I know, I've read the terms of service. Unless you rent from them, you're not going to get a built Jeep. You're going to get a Gladiator Sport.
My favorite thing to do is to rent you can upgrade to a Rubicon on their stuff. And my favorite thing is to show them the video of Misfit tipped upside down and say, are you guys ready to rent this to me? Let's go. I don't want any of your insurance.
They're like, we don't care. We got your credit card number and we know where you live.
No, they're awesome. It's only like $11 for a Sport Gladiator. It's like, okay, that's way cheaper than taking an Uber or doing something. So
yeah, no kidding.
I rented a Charger with a Hemi in it, the 400 horsepower Hemi, and it was just like, wow, what have I been missing? I've been driving this crappy 4-cylinder Jeep for too long.
I have a 2.0 turbo.
Yeah, I mean, my Gladiator has a 6-cylinder in it, but it's so underpowered for how big it is.
It's like,
yeah. No, we don't. None of us drive fast vehicles. In fact, I think out of all of us, Alyssa's going to have the fastest, and
She'd
even
probably
hers,
win in a race.
She would win in a race, and that's it. You're definitely. I mean, with that rooftop tent, you're not winning any aerodynamics races either. So I don't feel bad about it. Mm-mm. And we're just driving boxes with, just boxes with wheels. They're not anything special. Yeah. All right. Well, cool. So now that we're a few minutes in, last time on the show, we talked with Marcus Wildcat Canyon. That'll be the last episode that's going to air. And Alyssa, if you're curious as to when this is going to air, or if you're watching this, it will officially go out on the week after the 1st. So Marcus's episode will be our first episode of the new year. And then, we'll turn that into a regular thing because there's a lot of crap to talk about. There's always crap to talk about when it comes to land use stuff. It's fun. Because then there's the one that came out today. I haven't even had a chance to quite read it yet. It's some sort of a draft plan. I should have pulled it up because Alyssa, it's yours. Let's see if I can grab it here real fast while I'm trying to read this other update. The other update was I wanted to do a quick Blue Ribbon Coalition update because it's a hard one to understand. The Blue Ribbon Coalition released a alert basically saying that they've been reading through, and Ben alluded to this when he talked with us, that they had kind of found this rule that was going to get proposed in a Securities and Exchange Commission, which is essentially the group that the government group that regulates Wall Street and those banks and all those kinds of groups. It essentially is one of the lines in there is to define natural asset companies, which are companies in there that are defined as ways to hold on to land. Let's see here. Where did I have it here? NACs would hold the rights to ecological performance of a defined area and have the authority to manage those areas. So for conservation, restoration, or sustainable
basically
management.
What they're planning to do is turn over what they currently have for like the BLM and let private companies become their own BLMs over the national forest. And so basically they're going to rent out the national forest to the highest bidder. It could be to something where they rent it out to this one company and they freaking thrash it is an option. Yeah. Or environmentalists will rent it out and they will completely
shut it down.
And then you've lost your access to the national forest.
Yeah.
Because Staples wants to protect the environment.
Yeah. And even that's
do they get to put their
question.
name on it though? Is it like the Staples National Forest at that point? Is it?
Dude, don't tell me this is an idiocracy. This is just one step closer to it. Just you're gonna have
Idiocracy happened a long time ago.
We've been on our way there for
well,
a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty soon they're gonna buy the oceans, and it'll be Microsoft Pacific Ocean, the Amazon Atlantic.
Which
they're gonna buy the actual Amazon River.
And you can get actual samples of it within 2 days. Let's see here. The other one was in Arizona. This one was in your background, and I didn't get to write. I'm going to stumble through this one because I didn't write anything for this. And I'm a person who believes there's a lot of hyperbole in politics, but this is one of those times where after they just got done closing a third of Moab, I don't feel like hyperbole is there anymore. Gila Simon Travel Management Plan, located in the southeastern corner of Arizona, is beginning travel management planning. The plan affects 2,391.5 miles within 951,842 acres, surrounding Safford, Arizona. The project boundaries include areas such as Gila Bonita Creek, Hotwell Dunes, Red Knoll, Bear Spring, Watson Wash. Comments are accepted until December 23rd. That's a fun day. Let's see here. So essentially they're starting the process that closed all the roads in Moab. And I think that a lot of us would have said at the beginning of the Moab process, oh, there's no way they're going to close this many miles of trails and some of the worst of the plans that they had in Moab. And that's exactly what they did. So I don't think 54, the Blue Ribbon kind of coalition coming out and saying, look, 54% of your trails are being threatened with closure. I don't think it's hyperbole. I think it's a pretty good situation. They're saying that half of the trails in this area are just being told they're going to be done. And unfortunately, I think this is a lot of trails in Arizona. Alyssa, are you familiar with this area at all?
No, I was just looking it up. I haven't been to the southeast. That's
okay. Yeah, and it's interesting because all right.
It's interesting.
Well, we'll get some more on this for the next time.
Because that's where the border is. And I know that's where I think a lot of military, I don't remember if a lot of military action is more central or if it goes all the way across. That's like the border and New Mexico and Arizona is all like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll get some more on it for the next show. That literally just came out today, so I haven't really had a chance to look at it. But I'm guessing it's going to be in those same things. So cool. All right, Pope. I see he's inching forward. Do you want to play your own music?
I got it. No, you got the music thing. You got to play yours.
Oh, you want me to do this? Okay, we're doing it here.
Let's do it.
All right, this is week 7 of trying to get this shit to go. Are we all ready to go here?
Time for the Pope to...
Yeah! Hey!
It worked.
That's awesome.
Alyssa, I've been trying since you were on the show to get that to work, and this was the first time. So
thank
great. You all. I appreciate you. And that's it. I'm out. You guys are on your own for the rest of the show.
Success. Call it good.
All right, man. Go ahead.
All right. So this is out in your neck of the woods, JD. Well, maybe not exactly your neck of the woods. It's out in Colorado. It's your square area of the country.
Yeah, so it's within an hour of here, I guess. Yeah.
So great news for Colorado's outdoor community. A long-standing trail dispute on Mount Democrat. Oh, sounds like a terrible place. Part of the DeKalb LeBron James loop.
DeKalb.
DeKalb.
LeBron James.
There's a capital L in there.
LeBron. We're gonna call it's the LeBron Loop. We're gonna call it that from now. That's what it is.
The LeBron Loop, renowned for hiking and off-roading, has been resolved. Landowner John Ryber, who closed the trail earlier over liability concerns, reopened it in July with an electronic waiver system. Now he's sold 289 acres, including the Trailhead Trail and Summit, to the Conservation Fund. This move, showing how public pressure and negotiation can lead to positive outcomes in land use battles, ensures permanent public access and conservation of the area's wildlife and scenic beauty. This landmark sale, set to be transferred to the U.S. Forest Service, highlights the power of community advocacy in preserving outdoor recreation spaces.
This is a win. Got a win.
So we have an area that's a nice, cool trail that was not public land, is privately owned, and they've managed to turn it over to become public land.
Now the difference is this is a hiking trail. This is not a 4x4 trail. So there's a Democrat mountain, and there's actually a Democrat and Republican mountain. They're actually at the bottom of that mountain is actually where I had my incident in July. But the that Democrat mountain's a different one. This is just the hiking trail that of the same name. This is out near Alma, I think. And the reason why I wanted to read this one is because it's a good story of how if everybody's involved with the same process, we can actually get good outcomes. They took a trail that was popular, that had a lot of traffic on it, that happened to traverse a private property, which is a weird thing here in Colorado that I did not understand until I moved here. People just own fucking mountains here. Like you just own the summit of a 14,000 foot mountain in Colorado. You can do it if you have enough money and or have the family, and had it this whole time.
Huh.
It's really,
I want to buy
really
some
weird.
of Colorado.
You can actually. It's just, I don't think you can buy these summits. I think they're all gone. But you can buy. There are some chunks of forest right here. You can buy.
Well, there's chunks of forest all around us. People own them all over the place.
No, I really want to buy it.
You can't be
in Utah, like that happens. Yeah,
it's just a little uranium, right?
Yeah,
your little uranium and a little copper never hurt anybody. We live up by the copper mine. Like the copper mine's like a mile from our house. So.
Mile, maybe like 10-ish, 20.
Well, you're also not actively mining it, so I wouldn't be too worried about it.
No.
Yes, they are.
They're not mining
you are
it right
not,
now.
though. Are you mining it?
No.
They're not. Wait. The copper mine's closed right now, I think.
No, it's still open.
Oh. Segments of it are closed. I don't know, but I watched the mountain like kind of disappear over there. It's kind of interesting.
The mountain, there was mountains over there. Now there's just flat plateaus.
It's weird.
That look like modern pyramids are being built by Utahns.
It's interesting living in between. We're in a valley, so there's mountains on both sides of us, and watching the mountains like from when I was a kid to like what happens in some of these mining areas or like the quarries, like our point of our mountain out to the one side, it literally is widened. It's the craziest. It's interesting to see. I mean, I live in the mountains, so that's what happened.
No, about 15 minutes from here, there's a part of the Colorado skyline now, I guess, especially if you lived anywhere near Colorado Springs, you're familiar with the scar. And it's an old mining scar. It's where they got more than 60 or 70% of the limestone for Colorado Springs. They just cut out of the side of the mountain here. Mm-hmm. And if you are staring from the scenic overlook that they have on the side of the highway at Pikes Peak, you can see that scar. So it's actually something that's been a big point of contention here up until a couple of years ago. They're actually working to bury that now. So maybe 30 years from now, they'll bury yours too.
Oh, I mean, it literally is like...
Yeah, they're like flat. You should look up the Bingham Copper Mine on Google. They're like flat.
It's huge.
It's one of the biggest man-made structures you can see from space.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there's a really cool like parking spot where you can go park up above it and see down into it, but it's freaking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord.
Yeah,
okay.
We actually have a spot in Salt Lake on the mountain that we used to live on where they've cut a straight line down the side of it. Where
it's a quarry for like...
It's a gravel and coal quarry.
Yeah.
And they've basically been slicing the mountain one straight down in vertical lines, and they keep chopping out another segment, and it's kind of
square completely.
Yeah, it's like a big giant flat plateau where there used to be a mountain.
Good Lord, that is a giant hole in the ground, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
like
you
that's
should
just
pull that up on the picture so everybody
I'm doing
see
it.
Like,
I got you. I'm working on it.
It's not a joke. We literally live like maybe 15 miles from there. Maybe 10.
I don't think it's that far.
You don't think it's that far?
No, it's just east of Harriman.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can
That's
park
just-
above that and like eat dinner, and it's kind of cool.
And I don't know if they have a good picture of what the mountains look like on the outside of it, but there's just like giant flat ant hills
Uh-huh.
that humans.
Good Lord.
Yeah,
I mean, you can kind of see it. That's where they're just dumping the spills.
Yeah.
That's the cave side, and then the spills are on the outside of it.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Yep.
Talk about
Randy's mom knows how to drive
environmental
trucks. Drive those trucks that do that.
Good Lord. I just don't even.
And they're
All
worried
right.
about us driving over some dirt. Like seriously,
They're digging.
No,
they're
it
doing
just goes to show.
this.
It
It's
just should show you that's not what they're really worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Live in northern Utah for like 5 minutes, and then you're going to be like, "Wait, what? You're mad about like this land that might be driven over once every?"
They're digging whole entire sections of the environment out here in the north.
worry
You should
that-
be worried about that.
I worry that a lot of people who consider themselves environmentalists have never been 10 miles outside of an urban center, and it's like I don't think you really know that that's a different subject for a different day. All right. Anyway, cool. So, yeah.
Sorry, just a little
No.
side note. That's where we live. Is right next to that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's giant. Yeah. My main thing is Pikes Peak. That's the closest thing to my house. Alyssa, do you have any large man or non-man made objects near your house that we can stalk you from space with?
Probably.
Don't worry about it. You don't really want to answer that question
Besides
anyway.
The Grand Canyon.
That is a perfect answer. That's a large item and it's like a lot of square miles to it. All right, cool. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that story up because that was actually a success story. And I will use this opportunity to remind anybody that's listening, if you do hear this or if you hear a story like this or something good or bad near you and you guys want us to talk about it, hit me up on Instagram, me and my yellow JK, or hit up Randy and Pope and Jim and the Misfit, or even Alyssa. I'm sure she'll forward it to us. Hold my coffee _ Arizona, right?
AZ, yeah.
AZ. Okay, there we go. That's Arizona. I mean,
Yeah,
most people should be able to get it. No, you're good. I understand.
There's only
There's-
one.
You would still be surprised how many people I'd still get messages. I mean, I don't think we're big enough, but I feel like at some point I would get messages telling me to get corrected. So, all right.
That's how you know you've made it, is when people start telling you how to do the things.
I really look forward to the first person that tells me I'm an asshole, specifically because of this show. Like, that's all I need. That's all the validation I need. That means I'm touching people's lives.
You're making
All right.
people care.
Sure, let's go with that.
All right, let's read this other story here.
That's another one. Numbers.
Wow, this is a good one. If
And
you're
that's-
into the economy, you care about this.
Yeah.
So the global off-road vehicle market is currently worth a value of $21.73 billion. It's the off-road vehicle market. The global off-road vehicle market, which caters to professionals and enthusiasts who require vehicles capable of navigating challenging and rugged terrain, is currently valued at $21.73 billion, with the North American market at $12.1 billion of that in 2022. I'd say the rest is probably in the Middle East. Those guys are crazy.
I think you and me are only responsible for like half of that, right?
Yeah, I'm only like 1.7 billion of this.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
on Gem and the Misfit.
And that's it. That's all I needed. You don't need to read the story for anything else. I just want to say that joke. And I'm out. No, I got it.
So they're expecting this market to grow to a value of $47.4 billion by 2033. And
to read
the
all
key
those people you
players
don't
in
want
this
to.
market are all your favorite Snowcat and side-by-side companies.
Because that number, that 21.2 or 73 billion, that's just those vehicles. It's not like recreation or anything else like that. That's just the sale of vehicles. And that's not your Jeep or my Jeep or Alyssa's Toyota. That's just
side-by-sides. And
Yeah.
it's not just side-by-sides, but it's like all those ATV type things. It's side-by-sides. It's the
Like dirt
snowmobiles,
bikes and stuff.
Mhm.
too.
dirt
Yeah.
bikes.
Yeah. The whole of the recreation market, I think, was like 800 billion or some ridiculous number like that. And then that includes the Bureau of economic and labor people that I reached out to because I didn't feel like they were giving us an accurate representation. But it's like it's still 2% of it that's makes up that whole thing for us. So yeah, it's a big number. It's a giant number. And I got all the way through that article and I'm just like, wow, 12.1, that seems kind of low. And then like, oh no, that's 1 year's worth of ATV sales and snowmobile sales. And like, that's a lot of vehicles.
12 billion in 1 year.
I mean, even on the high end, those things are what, 20 grand, 25 grand max. It's a lot of money.
Well, unless you're like buy like light bright style side by sides, then they're probably on the 35 to 45 side.
Wait, do you mean light bright Kevin and Brittany? Because I want to make Randy uncomfortable again if we can. Because I know she's still feeling okay. Good.
She hates when we talk about them for some reason.
I hate when you talk about
No,
them.
Randy's.
I just don't
No,
want that.
Randy's
I'm the one who likes to be nice.
She's our
We are being
guardrail.
nice.
Like, no, she's
Kevin buys really nice shit. That's what
He
I'm
does.
saying.
he does like lots of
No,
really
we-
nice shit.
Lots of it. Lots of it.
All right, we're gonna get her pissed off at us again, so I don't want to do that. All right.
Oh, I like everybody. That's all I'm trying to say is I like everybody.
And again, we love Kevin and Brittany too. We like to give them shit.
I know.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's the only reason I wanted to bring that one up. It's been a pretty light week other than that, though. So there's not too much, just a lot of land use stuff, and I didn't really feel like getting really that pissed off about it tonight. So I will put a thing out online about to remind folks to comment on the Arizona thing before the 23rd shows up. So
The more information you can provide, the better.
Oh yeah, I'll for the next episode out. We'll have some more. I know that the comment period is over or coming to the end. I think it's been out there for a bit, so I think a lot of the folks local have had at least a good chance to respond to it.
Yeah, and probably by the time this airs, it'll already be over the comment period. Actually,
Oh, by the time this one airs, yeah, for sure. That's why I'll have to give it a thing out. Unless you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, in which case, please go check out the BRC website and do that. So, although I think we had one person who watched for like 4 minutes last week, so I don't think we're going to have a large audience.
and
I'm
voting
still
us down. That was so rude.
I don't know. I'm kind of convinced that was Randy now. Like looking back at the video, the only time I saw the buttons down were when she was at the keyboard. So I don't know. I don't know where those came from. We did not have somebody on that long. So like just the stats showed me we didn't have anybody watching that long. So who knows? So if you are watching,
I don't know what that was. That was just really weird. I kept looking at it. I'm like, what is that? And then I realized
and it was
that we
just
were
on
like-
you too. Like it wasn't on all of us. So anyway, tangent.
Well, but it moved. It actually did move.
It moved to Jason once.
Yeah.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we're just getting the occasion. Maybe we're just popping up in somebody's like feed when they're scrolling through and like, I don't want to see that shit. Oh,
Yeah. Who are these
knows?
old people talking about playing outside?
I feel like I get that in real life too. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Well, that's all I had for news, folks. And so yeah, I'll do this one more reminder. If you get a piece of news and you think we should be talking about it, let us know. I did skip our review spotlight. We didn't get any reviews this week. This is your reminder, though, to tell your friends about the podcast. That's our best way of advertising. We don't have money for advertising. I barely have money for the thousands of stickers that I bought for all of us. No, I'm kidding. They're really not that expensive. But we don't do any advertising, so just tell your friends. And then if you want to be on the show, we'll play your voicemail message. Give us a call at 719, and we will play your episode, or we'll play your voicemail live on the show for Jason, so that he can react to you and you specifically live. And then the rest of us will speak up. We just want to make Jason the first one to do it. You reach us at the Trailhead Podcast at gmail.com, and of course at the trailheadnetwork.com, and the Trailhead Podcast on Instagram. All right. So finally, Alyssa. So welcome back officially for the third or fourth time since we started talking today.
Thank you.
So if you did not hear the last episode, Alyssa joined us on the episode that aired today, which is 12:15, which would have been our episode with Tara from Jeep Her and Virago JKU. Just kind of a roundtable discussion about her badassedness and wrenching and her just outdoing her husband. So that's pretty much what we talked about for 2 hours, right? That's kind of we
that
didn't
sounds
really
about right.
we didn't really get a chance to meet you, and we wanted to. We're kind of trying out this new guest host format, and we kind of want to give you an opportunity to see what we were about, and then not feel too intimidated by us. And I feel like now it's going to be more like we want to bring people on as guests first. I don't know if we should do this, because I feel like it's almost a dangerous thing if you know the kind of shit show that you're going to be a part of, like getting into it ahead of time. So, cool. Well, welcome back. So it's nice to have you.
Thank you.
So we, in a brief moment where I stepped away from the podcast, the last time you kind of talked with Jason and Randy and Pope and stuff about what a kind of bit of your background. Give us a shout out officially of where you're from these days, and then a little bit about your background. We'll go from there.
Okay. Okay, I have to go through it. I'm from the Phoenix area in Arizona. From here and still live here. I moved to Flagstaff very briefly, still in Arizona, and moved back down to Phoenix. So I haven't really left.
That's okay. We're a national podcast. I appreciate you doing that. We got to make sure we appeal to everybody. It's a matter. Everybody knows what those places are. There's a lot of people that don't know that Tallahassee is the capital of Florida. Good Lord, I hope that's right.
I don't remember.
Nah, that's okay. Pope, you're
That's
smarter
the
than the
other
rest
side
of us.
for me.
Tallahassee sounds right, but I wish it was Miami.
I think everybody wishes it was Miami. I take that back. I wish I was 20 if we're wishing for stuff, but that's a different discussion. All right, cool. So just to be real, did you start out off-roading or did you get into off-roading?
I got into it. I wasn't raised in it or anything. I didn't have friends that did it, or like family friends or parents or anything that did that.
And were you doing it before you started school, or did that not happen until kind of after all the rest of the shit that went down for you happened?
Very little bit when I was in Flagstaff, when I was going to Northern Arizona University. I had, I think, like a friend with a Raptor, a friend with, I think he had a Nissan. I don't remember.
Okay.
And then a friend with a quad. And that was kind of the only few times I was out on the dirt roads around Flagstaff.
I mean, for Arizona, there is some rock crawling, but it's a lot of the overland stuff, isn't it?
Actually, no. There's some really harder rock crawling around.
Really?
You just have to, yeah, around a lot of. I want to say a lot of, like, if you're looking at Arizona as a state, a lot of like the centrally area. And I feel like there's got to be some around Tucson too, around the south, but definitely like north of Phoenix and
some of the
east.
nastiest, gnarliest rock crawling is in Arizona. We're ready to go there.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Have
So you guys
you
are
been,
more
or
than
have you
me.
just been watching Instagram?
No, we've been we have a lot of friends from there, and we're like, we're gonna come
Aqua
see
Jeep
some-
girls from Arizona originally, and Dominic, our friend, and Oscar. Those guys wheel on some of the craziest stuff.
And I want to go
out
play
there.
so bad.
Yeah, you guys should. Yeah, so those areas are north of Phoenix.
Mhm. Yeah.
And their
Okay.
their videos are solid. I wouldn't go out there. I wouldn't make it.
I mean, we've talked about it before, and I'm sure that we'll talk about it again. Everybody's got a different style, and I'm a very middle of the ground kind of wheeler. I kind of like those middle of the ground trails and the scenic stuff. And Pope and Randy are very much not that. They like the scenic stuff, but I think they'd much rather be hanging off of something and potentially rolling something.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You don't strike me as the
they're
kind of
pretty,
person
though.
that wants to roll their vehicle, Alyssa.
We don't want to.
Not
What
my
is this
vehicle.
want to? What is the want? There is no part of this that we want to.
I like how upset that you are about it. Yeah. Mhm.
There's no wanting about it. We just want to test. We're building these to test what they're capable of.
I know, and I'm
Yeah.
giving you shit. Just see, this is what happens. I'm giving Kevin and Brittany shit. I'm giving Randy shit. It's an all inclusive shit. So
Yeah.
so you really, and I get that. I think a lot of us, I know, like when I started in Colorado, I was taking my stock Jeep out on just dirt roads and the Forest Service fire roads, because I think it's a lot of people cut their teeth there, and I think they should. I think too many people start off at the 6th and the 8th, and when they should be starting off at the 2s at the most.
Oh, we even started off with Gem and Misfit on fire roads when we were on 37s. We spent a lot of time trying to figure out what they could do. And the first time I climbed up a big ledge with the Jeep, I was like, oh, we need to put 40s on this.
Well, and you feel what it does, and you feel what your vehicle does. And I think that's how you kind of start to make decisions about what you're going to do when it comes to upgrades, because you kind of get a better idea of what you want it to do versus how it's responding to your gas.
Yeah, but even no matter how many YouTubes I watched, I still didn't have all the right information about when to use stuff until I actually went out with people. But I think that going out on the fire roads and even like if you love scenic trails and that's your jam, then just always do it. There's no wrong way to enjoy this hobby.
Just get it out and enjoy.
You don't have to be a stunt man or halfway psychotic like Randy and I to enjoy it. Like just
no,
I don't think you have to. Like I love people that go out there and they just posted a picture of their Jeep in front of the most beautiful place.
We love beautiful
love
places too. Like we love beautiful places.
I have awesome videos of beautiful places. They just don't do good on my Instagram.
Well, and there's that too, right? Like, like there's like the regular. The vast majority of people, I think, are doing the fire roads and the Forest Service roads and the 3s and the 4s. Those videos don't do as well for me either. They sometimes the really scenic, forest roads might, if I'm lucky, but most of the time it's just not going to do the same kind of traction. People like to see the hardcore stuff. So,
well, we could be on the most hardcore things, and they don't care. They want to see him fail.
Yeah, like.
I think that's the internet.
The internet wants to see Pope fail.
Millions of people have seen me fail, but only hundreds of thousands have seen us succeed.
But it's not just you, Pope. Don't take that so personally. It's not just you. They don't care who they see fail as long as they see somebody fail that isn't them.
Yeah, that's exactly true. That's why I get so many good fail videos on my feed too.
I just wish that I'd been recording when that incident happened in July. That would have made my life, I think it'd be a lot cooler. It'd be a lot cooler if it did. All right. So Alyssa, if you didn't start the off-roading kind of thing, sounds like you just kind of fell backwards into it. When you were, what happened when you started going to school? We'll hit it.
Going school, sorry, with like.
No, you were saying. Well, no, I mean, you really didn't start hitting the trails hardcore until you got back from all that first round, right?
Yeah. So like when we did trails, it was just I never drove. It was just with. I knew of the roads and I wanted to go on them. Actually, I think I did go on them. I'm having like memories I haven't had in a long time.
That's okay.
Yeah, I had it's such a bad car. I had a '98 Ford Taurus, but it drove on anything. And I do remember doing a dirt road on that once because I was very curious where it went, and did that. And then I got scared and I turned around. But it was fine. I made it.
Well, congratulations! You did a lot more than most people with those cars would have done. They would have kept going.
Yeah, it probably would have made it. That car was pretty solid for what it was.
All right.
Yeah.
I think I don't think a lot of those cars can do more than we give them credit for, but it's whether or not they should have them on those roads.
Yeah. I mean, I took it through Flagstaff. So I don't know if people listening know, Flagstaff in Arizona is at 8,000 or 9,000 feet elevation, and their winters are like they get snow and ice. And so
is it really that high up? I didn't realize it was so high. Okay. That's like 1,500 feet higher than here.
I was going to say it's higher than Denver.
And we're here at 7,500 feet in my house. So, all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's up there. So winter times, I remember like driving in ice and snow, and that car plowed through snow. So like my roommates would make me leave first So I'd like plow through.
See, they're
I don't
nice,
know.
lovely
Yeah.
friends making you cut. Mhm.
Yeah, the boat of a car it was. Yeah, I went through that. I walked to school and it was like negative temps. Like it's cold up there, but it's
Mm.
very, very beautiful. Very beautiful. Um, if you've been to the Overland Expo in like May, it's always in Flagstaff. So that's where
Oh yeah.
that is. Yeah.
Why am I saying this like I've never been there before? I was there like 2 years ago for the Overland Expo. I
Oh, cool.
don't drink, kids. Just don't drink. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Cheers.
All the forest
Mhm.
looks the same. I've been there. We go there a lot in the summertime just to escape the heat down here. And yeah, after a while, all the forest roads look the same. So don't go wander drunk.
No. I just wish I'd done Shenley Hill while I was right there, and I didn't know until I left later. And that's
It's
another
a
discussion for
mess.
another day. Yeah,
No,
they're always a mess.
It's
Shenley Hill is?
especially during Expo. It's a mess every
yeah.
weekend during the year, and it's a wreck during Expo weekend.
Yeah, that's
It's
the kind of
just-
thing that I would stay for. If I really wanted to do it, I would have stayed till like Tuesday after everybody was left, and then I would have done it.
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, if you wait it out, because I think people get there early to do stuff, but if you wait it out,
Oh, nobody
probably
wants
better.
to stay there after it's over. They all want to go home.
No.
Most of the people who stayed there for the whole weekend are gross. Just want to
Mhm.
shower. Yeah.
It's exhausting. Yeah,
True story.
it's out there. So yeah, so you've seen it.
Yeah, it's
Very
fun.
nice during summer.
Sorry. Off a
Yeah.
tangent. I apologize again. Mm-hmm.
No, I think I did that too. What was I? Oh yeah, my car. Yeah, so I've been on some of the dirt roads out there, but I've always had an interest in it. And even driving around the Phoenix area, where I grew up in Mesa, we were on the edge of Mesa at the time. Now it's grown so much, but at the time it was the edge of Mesa. So, and then going to Saguaro Lake, just that drive, there was always like little offshoots of dirt roads, and like the little
Yeah.
fences would be open. And I was like, where does that go? Why don't we ever try that? And my parents are just not outdoors people, so I never knew.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
no Cub Scouts of any kind? No, nothing?
Nope. I asked for it. It's expensive, so we didn't do it. But I asked for that. I asked to go hiking. My mom was like, I don't want to be responsible for that, which is understandable now that I'm older looking back at it. But that I asked to go like mountain bike. I remember asking for a mountain bike like every Christmas, like didn't get one or do it. Like, yeah. So I've always been into it. Some of my family is from Maine. Actually, maybe a third of my family is in Maine, and then the rest are around like New York area. And now that I'm older and got to meet them, I found out all of them are very outdoorsy people. They like hunt and fish and camp, and I was like, oh, I was just born in the wrong state.
Your mom was the black sheep. I get it. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
She was the black sheep of the family.
Yeah, and for like 20 years, I thought I was the black sheep of the family, and then I was like, oh, I belong.
Nope. It was just your mom. It was your mom had it from beginning to end there. Yeah. Good job.
Yep. I would ask to go camping, and she was like, Motel 6 is the closest we get. And I was like, oh, I want to go real camping. Yeah, she is not. She's not into it.
See, I got exposed to that when I was a kid, so I was lucky. But then again,
Cool.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's good parts of it. Like I have some good memories of Boy Scouts and those kinds of things. Mm-hmm. I'm glad I did it, but there's also some things where I'm just like, man, I can't believe some of those adults got away with that shit. Like they're if there's the Boy Scouts are almost canceled now. They probably should have been canceled back when I was in it in the 80s. So.
See, we lived I lived in northern Utah my whole life, and so my family didn't have a lot of money, so camping was great. You could get like a few things and go up into the mountains, and you'd have a great weekend, and you didn't know you didn't have any money.
Yeah, see, they're just
normal.
Illinois it was all structured camping, so it's all campgrounds and the state parks and stuff. There wasn't anything like we have here out west at all.
Yeah. Oh, it was like $9 for a campsite and a really good time.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's
cool. See, and I think like my dad likes that stuff, I think. But yeah, my mom was just not gonna have it. And I remember her saying camp equipment is expensive. And she was like, we're gonna do it once and you two aren't. I have a younger brother. And she was like, we're gonna try it once, spend all this money on all this stuff, then you're not gonna like it. Okay.
yeah. I mean,
I don't know how to
And
do
now
it.
you like it. Now you're doing it all the
Yeah,
time.
I'm like, well, I'm gonna do it now.
is your mom still around to give her shit or no?
Oh yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, see,
and
there you go.
She's scared of what I do. She'll be like, I don't tell her when I go places now. So
Yeah,
it's just
I mean-
better for both of us. But then I get back and she's like, so where did you go? I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
went to Moab. And she's like, oh. But my grandpa is always like, can you show me videos? I'm like, yeah. So I'll show my
Oh,
grandma and
cute.
grandpa videos. And
That's
then my mom will
adorable.
ask and she'll watch a couple and she'll be like, okay, that's too much. You shouldn't be doing this stuff. Mom, I'm safe. It's okay.
That's the most mom reaction I've heard to off-roading video. Like, and you're not.
Pope's mom refuses to know.
She doesn't follow
won't-
us. She doesn't watch.
Oh,
no.
really?
Yeah. And so my dad follows us and then shows my mom the stuff that she doesn't want to see. Like my mom and my dad saw my rollover video before my mom did. I didn't call him and tell him it happened or anything.
What
I
is
think-
wrong with you? No, that's
What?
rule
I
number
don't-
one. You gotta
I
be
didn't
like,
want-
at least send him a text message. Be like, hey, everything's fine, but you should know the Jeep was upside down today. So when the Instagram story hits, don't be surprised.
Yeah. So the first time we ever
Shit.
talked about it was Thanksgiving dinner. And they're like, so about your Jeep being upside down, what was going on there?
No.
But
They
I
love
didn't
it.
I
They
didn't
love
tell
it.
my mom because I didn't want her to have to worry.
Yeah.
And we kind of have this thing like if you see it on Instagram, obviously it was fine, or I would have told you if something bad happened.
Right. There is that. Yeah.
So,
I get it.
but
I
I just
feel like-
I actually literally didn't call him or tell him anything about it because I didn't really want to stress her out or make her stressed out about future trips that we were going to be doing. And
Yeah. I get it.
and
If my
now my dad's like oh, I've seen him bounce back from worse stuff than that. He's going to be fine.
Aw.
There you go. If my mom was still around, I would spend all of my free time deflecting questions about where I was, what I was doing, and why I was putting myself and my wife and my dog and my life and myself at risk. And so someday I'll tell you guys the story of how I came out here, but I don't have to worry about that anymore. So I don't have to report to her anymore. I don't have to tell her nothing. My uncle kind of knows. That's all I need. So, all right. So you didn't do any kind of off-roading before, and then you started. How old were you when you started college? And it was for education, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was going for elementary and special ed. I was going for a dual major. I think 18, I don't know, whatever the normal age is that you start. I think 18.
I don't think there's a
I went
normal
from high
age
school to
these days.
college.
Yeah. I think you're
didn't
doing a lot
think
better than
that.
most people these days. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. How many years did you get done?
3.5. I was
Damn.
really close to
And you-
graduating.
And you did not finish?
No, I
Ugh.
tried. I
get
a
it. Yeah.
handful of times. Because it was a dual major.
Mm.
That should have been a 5-year process, and I switched it into 4. And the last semester of classes, I think I had 6 classes, and 2 of them were my capstones. And then the last semester was going to be student teaching.
Ooh.
And then November? Yeah, early November. So I only had like 4 or 5 weeks left of classes and finals,
Ugh.
like all my classes and finals. November is when I got sick and then was in ICU and just never went back to school.
And I'm not getting on you about
Yeah.
that. It's really more of you were so close to it. Like if I had put so
So
much time and
close.
effort into it, I feel that pain because I just can't.
it still sucks to think about. Like I tried going back, and all my teachers were super, super sweet trying to help me. Like nothing against them. I was able to finish 4 of my classes. And then the last 2, I couldn't get, they were my capstone for special ed. And the professor that taught it, there were only 2 professors that taught that class. And one of the professors was like super sweet and kind of easy, and like you were going to pass it no matter what. The other professor was very hard. You would pass with a C in his class, hopefully. But when you were done, what I was told, or what I remember, I was told after student teaching, when you're applying for all the different teaching jobs, if you say that you had him as your professor, you were most likely in. So I was like, I want him. I want to be a good special ed teacher. I want him to teach me. It was a very hard class. And yeah, I just could not. I tried going back, and he was so, so gracious and trying to help me through it. And he was like, you just basically need to BS the papers. But the papers were like 25-page long papers with like a certain amount of sources cited, like I think 3 of those. And I had no memory left after the hospital. Like I had no memory to even BS something.
Yeah, so we don't have to spend a ton of time on that. So exactly, just for real quick for anybody listening, what happened on all of that, so that just kind of get to a starting place on it.
On the accident?
Yeah, on the accident, kind of what led you to the hospital and all that kind of jazz. Because if you didn't hear that episode that aired today, then you would not have caught the couple minutes in the middle of the episode where we kind of had a chance to talk to you about it. So go for it.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So into that part now. I just tore a muscle in my leg just randomly.
Ooh, that's it.
Or I guess randomly sounds weird. I fell and just like fell wrong. My leg got caught and it pulled my left leg to the side, and I tore a muscle in my thigh. And I mean, like normal, it swelled up and it hurt. And then after a few days is when I could tell something was wrong. And I went to the doctor, and he said, he said it was a really bad tear, and gave me some meds. And I was like, all right, cool. It's November. I have 4 weeks till finals. I was on my own financially. So I was also working 2 jobs while doing this stuff. I was like, I don't have time so give me the pills and I'm out. I didn't know it was a infection, and I didn't know it was a staph infection. So I should have, I mean, I thought I went to a doctor, and he told me that was what was wrong. I didn't think anything of it.
Well, yeah, they're supposed to be the ones that tell you that you're good, right?
Yeah. And I didn't go to the college doctors. I knew they would give me meds and push me off. So I went to a doctor outside in the city, and he kind of did the same thing. But I didn't know. Now looking back, I know. But that happened.
Well, and you might have been better off with a headstrong college student.
Yeah, right. Yeah, wanting to test it, and I don't know. So so just kind of let it go, got back to working and school and trying to just finish. And then that weekend I got super sick, and I thought it was the flu because we had our first snowfall. It was winter, everyone was getting sick, and I was like, oh no, now I'm sick. Well, at least I have an excuse to not go to work, and I can maybe let my leg heal because it was hurting really bad. And then the next day I was super sick and started passing out. Whenever I would try to go throw up, it was just like passing out on the floor. And my roommate was like, we're going to the hospital. And I was like, no, I'm dehydrated. It's fine. I don't want an IV. They're expensive. Like, we're not doing that. And she was like, no, I think we're going to go to the hospital. And we went, and I had no idea that I was septic at that point. I was in toxic shock and kidney failure. I was almost done. The doctor told me if I had waited 20 more minutes, or if I had got to the hospital 20 minutes later, I would have like died on the way there. So I was close. And then I know like the those first 3 days was just a lot of revivals and trying to keep me alive. And then after that, they said I was in the clear for that, but now we had to do dialysis and whatever other surgeries and taking care of my body. And
just
then
trying to get you back to a good baseline.
Yeah, just trying to get me out of ICU, I guess. And yeah, it was weird. So yeah, all that had happened for probably 2.5 weeks at first.
Were you conscious for most of it? Like, and we don't have to spend a ton of time on that because it's like, were you conscious for most of it though?
I know I was, but I don't remember it. But I know
Okay.
I was only from stories.
It's better than knowing some of it because some
sure.
of that can be, being in an ICU for any period of time can be absolutely terrifying. Just especially if you're semi-conscious, because you're sometimes in and out of it, and you have no necessarily any good idea of what's going on anyway.
Yeah, I don't remember. For me, I remember like waking up and coming to and asking, like, I remember waking up and seeing my mom like taking a nap on the side couch. And I was like, cool, mom is here. And then I looked up at the clock and I saw it was in the afternoon. And I was like, okay, cool, this clock. And then I think I fell asleep and came back. And by that point, my mom was up and a doctor was there. And I asked, like, what day is it? And I think they said, they either said Tuesday or Thursday. I don't know why. It was one of those days. And I was like, oh my God, I've been asleep. I think they said Thursday. I was like, oh my God, I've been asleep for this long. Like, I have an interview in 2 days. Like, I have a flight that I have to catch. I wanted to move to Denver to teach. And I was like, I have an interview in Denver. What is going on? When am I getting out? And I was like, I've been asleep for 4 days. And they're like, oh, no, it's been a week and 4 days. And I was like, so I missed my interview and no one let me go. Like, I was so, I was not in the right headspace.
You didn't wake me up so that I could do my interview?
Yeah. I was like, you kept me asleep this long. I had stuff to do. Yeah. So, yeah. And
it's a good judge of how well you're into it or not, of whether or not you can comprehend the gravity of the situation.
Yeah. And I remember now, I know I was conscious because my mom said at one point, and I don't remember this, one point I tried going to that interview and I thought I was sneaky. I had the nurse go retrieve me something. And then I guess I tried getting up out of bed and he was like, we're done. And so he went to restrain me and I've never punched someone before, but I guess I punched him. And then he was like, now we're tying you up. And then I got
Oh my.
I don't remember it, and I wish I did because I've never punched someone before. Yeah.
Like, did you give him like a black eye? Like, I want details. Like, does there need to be a rematch someday?
So my mom said she was in the room, and I don't know. She said that I tried getting up, so he went to restrain me, and I was getting really mad. And my mom was like, she's getting really upset. I think you should just like let her realize she can't physically get up anyway. And he was like, no, I got it. So I guess he kept going from like me to her to me to her. And I guess when he looked at her and then it came back to me is when I like went for his face.
All right. Good to know. Don't turn your back on Alyssa. She will punch you the fuck out.
That's funny.
A little sucker punch there.
It must have been like the weakest punch though, because I was so drugged up, but I feel so bad.
I don't think you
no memory.
For future reference, if you ever interviewed on this another podcast about that ever again, you should say that he was a 400-pound dude, that he was 6 foot, 6 foot 6. Call
security on me,
and they had to call security on you to get you to get down. And he was in his own ICU for an extra 2 days. Well, just keep stringing it. Just keep going.
Right.
I love it. All right, don't turn your back on Alyssa. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, so long story short, yeah, I was unconscious for that and then kind of came back to it and was trying to think of was just trying to like figure out what was going on. I think we all were. We were all trying to figure out next steps because each day, like my body would kind of accept meds differently or bring up like a new infection or something. So, anyways, I was in there for 2.5 weeks. And then after some time, they were like, we don't have enough resources really anymore to treat you. We're going to have to fly you to Phoenix.
Like they were out of
like,
people,
okay.
or they just didn't have enough to.
Like, I think it just got to the point where they were like, this is a lot to handle and rehab you. Like they could do it, but it wasn't going to be.
It's a smaller hospital.
Yeah. It's,
okay.
Flagstaff's very small. And I think it's a private hospital too. So
that helps too. Mm-hmm.
So
see our previous story about selling off your public lands to private companies. So yeah, I'm sorry.
Very
go ahead.
limited. So yeah. So from there, I got sent to. I'm just gonna like side story because I'm bummed.
No, go ahead.
They were gonna fly me. Okay, so they were like, we're gonna put you on a helicopter tomorrow. We're gonna bring you to county because county has a burn center that takes care of, or they could better handle limb salvage. Is what it came down to. So they're like, we're gonna put you on a helicopter and fly you. And I was like, that's the coolest thing I've heard like this whole time. So yes, let's do it.
I mean, at least there's that, right?
Right. This is so cool. I want to go on a helicopter. Well, the next day a snowstorm hit. I know. So they were like, okay, no one's flying anywhere in Flagstaff. So tomorrow we're gonna put you on an airplane. And I was like, well, an airplane. It's no helicopter.
It's not as flashy as a helicopter, but I guess it'll do.
Right. I'm like, I've never been in a helicopter. I've been in airplanes, but okay, whatever. We can do an airplane. And the snowstorm let up. The airplane took some people, and then he came back for me and decided he didn't want to fly me. He was like, it's too late in the day. And I was like, oh, well, I wanted my airplane flight, but okay, I can wait till tomorrow. And they were like, no, we're giving up on this. Tomorrow we're going to put you in an ambulance. And I was like, that's not fun. And to go from Flagstaff to Phoenix in general is 2.5 hours. Going from Flagstaff to Phoenix
in the back of an ambulance.
Yeah. 3 hours.
Like those things don't have the greatest suspension systems to begin with, and it's on the highway. They don't go that fast.
And I was looking backwards the whole time. Like,
I think they could speed, right?
No, they can't because it's a box on wheels. We should know this. We drive Jeeps. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's downhill or not. It's still a box. There's a wind shear problem.
Doesn't care if you have flashing red lights, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that was sad, but I made it.
There you go. That's okay.
For those blizzards, man. So the plus side is one of my good friends in college had her baby 2 weeks early, and it was that night that like my last night. So
cool.
No helicopter, no airplane. I got to see her newborn the next morning, and then I went on the ambulance and left. So I guess there is a plus.
Okay. I mean, silver linings at that point. I think you got to look for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, got sent there the week of Thanksgiving 2013, and I didn't leave until the beginning of April 2014. So I was there for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, that's good Lord. And you had not lost any limbs at that point, right? You hadn't or you had
the first month, but December we had to amputate my left leg below the knee, and I had I don't know what date we amputated. Honestly, it was such a blur. But I know it was before Christmas. So you're good. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, we did that, and then after that, it was just more limb salvage on my right leg. It was a lot of limb salvage, and then skin grafts and rebuilding, and just trying to give me something to leave with, I guess.
And how? Yeah. And so that lasted until April. And did you leave with one leg in April, or You thought you were good
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, so the one amputation, the other was salvage. So it was a leg. I had a foot. My toes were amputated though. My toes were amputated. My heel had the skin at the bottom of my foot and the skin all around my leg up to my shin was all skin grafts. That those had all died. Um, I was missing tendons and muscles. My ankle wasn't really held together, so we had to do a fusion. Um, so I left with something, but it was not. It
And
wasn't
I don't
full.
think anybody's going to fault you for trying to keep it, try and hold on to it as long as you possibly could.
Yeah, yeah, and that was the next 6 years. Was just
Ooh.
trying to keep it and live with it and figure out like different ways, different things to wear with it. Like I started off in a boot, like one of the black boots. I started in that. Then I had an ankle foot orthotic that I could take off and on. Um, like it was only off to like clean my leg and skin grafts and stuff, but I couldn't walk without it. I had to have something on me all the time.
Well, you lost a lot of
Yeah.
balance-ish stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And the ankle fusion wasn't strong enough and I didn't have anything in my heel. So it was just bone and then skin graft. So I
Good
needed something to be
times.
on. It was a mess. Yeah. But I had some surgeons saying, oh, like we'll be able to rebuild and give you a little function and this and that. And then other surgeons being like, girl, it's gone. Like it's a loss. It's just a living prosthetic at this point that you're just
Yeah.
keeping like cleaning, but it's not functional. And so I had two different sides of very smart people telling me like different things. So I kept it and lived with it and tried to get back to life with it until it really started breaking down. And it was very painful to walk. I mean, it was already painful, but to the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I would rather have a prosthetic that I can like change the feet on and do different things. So,
Well, at
and
that point too, you'd been running around for what, 6 years with the other one, right? So you'd had at least some experience with it, so you kind of knew what you were in for.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And it wasn't. It's not like the healthiest amputation either. I started with, I want to say 3 or 4 inches, maybe 3 inches of bone. So a standard leg or like below knee amputation cut is 6 inches. Mine was 3 to save the bone, like bone spurs and neuromas and something else. I don't remember. So we had to do a revision, and now my bone length is 1.5 inches. It's very, very, very short. So it's not a great cut. But you're right. Like I knew going into the next one that this is controlled now and we can choose the cut length and try to, I don't know, take care, like have a healthier amputation.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
as a person, I had, when I was younger, I had a lot more uncomfortable discussions about medical procedures that a 22 or 23-year-old probably should be having in his life. And a lot of those discussions were about how much bone you're going to take and how much bone you're not going to take, or how much you're going to bypass the small intestine or not, and it becomes a serious negotiation between some very smart people who you're trying to figure out who's giving you the best advice and whether or not you should continue taking that advice, especially when you've been doing it for so long and you're still having problems like that. So yeah, if you're out there and you haven't been through it before, count your blessings. It's one of those things where it's not fun. It's not fun to be making those decisions about your health in that way and kind of trying to make those A-B decisions about, well, if I don't do this, I'm not going to have this. It's fun. It's a good time.
And then, and then on top of that, like besides thinking about yourself and what you want, my family wanted to see me as whole and as the old person I used to be. So they didn't want me to amputate. But then my friends wanted me to get back out there and be active again. And they were like, maybe amputating is better. So then it was like, I want to make everyone not happy, but like okay with my decision or like know that this is my health, but like my parents are crying over here and then my friends are crying over there. And it's, yeah, that's a lot to juggle.
And how old were you when all this was going on?
21. So I went in at 21. I don't know how old I was when I amputated, but through all my 20s, it was just surgeries and missing out on things and rehab. And definitely the first 2 to 3 years was a lot of rehab, and I didn't really go out. So I missed a lot of that chunk of time too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we'll put it back to something happier then in all of that. So when did, if the first couple of years were kind of the rehab piece of things, or then when do you think you started getting back out there? And at least and when did you start trying to discover that maybe offering was a place to spend some of that energy?
Yeah. I don't know. So my friends would try to pick me up and take me out kind of right away when I got home. And it was hard for me to get out and I always felt like a burden on them. But my like close friends were trying to get me out just back in public to feel normal again. I was able to start taking myself out. Want to say maybe 6 months, 8 months after, but that was like get myself to like Barnes and Noble or Starbucks or just anything where I could just go sit and be by myself. But it was get out, get my wheelchair out of the car, and then go sit somewhere for a couple hours and then go back home.
Were you trying to learn how to drive too?
Yeah. So that's the only way I got myself out. So because my right leg was salvaged, once I don't even know. Once I had the boot and I felt kind of stable, I promised my mom. She wanted me to be able to save myself or get away if I was in a car accident. So she said, if I can get to a point where if I'm in an accident and I need to get out of the car and get to the sidewalk, that I could.
I see what you're saying.
And I was like, okay, fine. So went to physical therapy, kind of got strength back in my legs, started getting used to the skin grafts and the pain and tolerance and everything. And then once that was kind of up, I was like, okay, look, Mom, I can do it. I did have to go back through DMV and retest for my license though, because I don't remember exactly. It was a long time ago, but I remember that I had to go back through DMV since changes happened. And yeah, so I did a class to prove to them that I can drive too, but I didn't drive with hand controls or anything. I wanted to use, I wanted to use my foot or my feet to drive.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think a lot of folks who had any kind of an ankle surgery would probably tell you that you can do more with a boot than you think you can, or at least the doctor tells you can. That is not an endorsement to anybody who's listening to this show. I am not endorsing dangerous driving habits or doing stupid shit when it comes to the boot that your doctor has prescribed to you, but you can do a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah. So that I was able to get myself out a little bit. But then it took maybe 2 or 3 years, maybe 3 years before I started like having a little side cash job. I was helping a family friend who was a realtor. He works constantly and he wanted to be able to work on his laptop constantly. So he was like, if you drive me so I can work on my laptop, I'll like pay you cash. And I was like, cool. So my first job back was just driving and that got me out. And then from there, my stamina got better and my pain tolerance. And then I started tutoring. I started using my special ed knowledge, not degree, but knowledge. And I started private tutoring. And then that led to nannying. And then that led to basically like almost not full time, but a little bit more than full time, like cash jobs here and there. And I was able to save up for my down payment for my Tacoma. And that's kind of where that went. Yeah.
That's I think that all of us would tell you that not save those of us in the sport who have come into independently wealthy. We all kind of started off with just the base build and kind of worked off there.
Mm-hmm.
That was how long ago was that when you got that? It was you said it was a 2018, so did you get it when it's new?
Yeah, 2018. I wanted an older Tacoma, but they all were basically the same price. So I was like, I might as well just start new. I know no one's messed it up or run it too hard and they're lying and whatever. So yeah, I got a new 2018 in 2018. And yeah, I didn't really know what to expect. I always wanted a pickup. I always wanted a Tacoma. And I was excited to take it on dirt roads. But I did not know what the off-road, I didn't know there was an off-road world. I knew that there were off-road cars and I knew that there were dirt roads. And that was all I knew. Yeah, so everything was new.
How did you, I mean, other than your friends who had, with the Raptor and stuff that kind of shoehorned you a little bit on the dirt roads, how did you plug into the community that was there?
Oh my gosh. Well, I started, like, my first dirt road was with a family friend. And because he had a Tacoma. He was like, oh, let's go. Anyone listening, my first one was Table Mesa on the east side of the 17. For Pope and Randy, Table Mesa west side is Terminator. And those ones, yeah.
That was so funny. They're both staring at the camera like, I have no idea what she's talking about right now. This is Terminator. Oh, yeah, I know exactly what that is. Yeah.
We do, though. Yeah. That's what's funny.
Yeah,
we would like to do Terminator.
Yeah, right. Dom's trying to talk me into it. And I was
fun.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, so that side is that side. I didn't do that. I did the other side, which is a lot easier.
If you do go with Dom and Oscar because
they'll take care of you.
They'll take awesome care of you.
Yeah, totally.
They're the best spotters.
Yeah. Corey's been trying to get me to go too. Passenger. I don't know. They're all like, oh, there's bypasses. And I'm like, okay, like I believe them, but they're okay. They see the bypasses.
I believe them
from yes, I'm sure there are bypasses, but they're seeing it from their Jeep build side, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's bypasses. I totally agree. But is it a bypass?
Yeah, right.
Is it a bypass?
Or is it a smaller hole?
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
They call it a bypass, but it's still a heck of an obstacle to get over.
Yeah. I mean, From their perspective, it's a bypass.
Yeah,
to somebody who's used to like dirt roads and things like that and fire roads, like that's not a bypass. That's like the biggest obstacle you'll probably see all year.
Right.
And that's what
it could be. Yeah. Or it might be a easier little corner to turn, but is it a good corner for a box or is it an okay corner for my rectangle? Like, is my tailgate gonna make it? Or
he's
not?
A gladiator. Well, that's the thing is he's a gladiator, so he gets like.
Do you get that? Yep.
Yep, I totally understand. Well, I used to have a whole truck bed, but then I smashed it up, so I bobbed it.
Oh, okay.
That's one of those examples of taking the opportunity to upgrade in the moment of after you've killed it. So
I was like, it's going to cost me the same amount of money. Well, actually, the same amount of money for repairing the bed as the parts, right? Or have insurance fix it. But basically, to replace that whole panel of the truck bed is pretty pricey. So I was like, a whole new truck bed's the same price as that. So let's do that.
Yep.
Nice.
So that's how we got involved with Motobuilt.
That's how I'm getting a Dynatrek axle because it's it's virtually the same price and it's a faster ship than the Mopar one, and it's a hell of a lot stronger. So
yeah, I mean that's one of the things about when I rolled over is that the bed didn't take any damage whatsoever. It didn't.
Wow.
And I was all the way flipped over. So the hood got dented, the roof got smashed up, the door got
As
destroyed.
far as I can tell, only thing that got dented or damaged on your vehicle was either cold rolled steel or aluminum.
Hmm.
Yeah, aluminum was all the stuff that got damaged. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
basically aluminum.
Well, sheet
it was,
metal or sheet. Yeah.
yeah,
so.
I mean, but it's crazy because the the bed didn't even look like anything happened to it. It looked a little buffed, like you could buff out that scratch. Like it was literally you just buff it out. It was crazy.
Did you do one of those videos about like, I don't know, like, oh no, we have to buff this spot, and then you show the rest of the truck?
No, but we
No.
should.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, look, you guys have an opportunity here in between repairs. Get as much video as you can before you do any kind of major repair, so that when you have a brilliant idea like this, you can pull from that video. Be like, yeah, I got video of us panning before we did this. Yeah, we could use this right here.
It's like when all those funny I messed up audios come out, I always have something.
He's got some.
You have more than me. That's all I gotta say. But that's, I think,
Because I'm a worse driver, I think, is why.
Okay, yeah. Then I'm gonna leave it right at that. I'm not gonna say what I really thought it was then.
I need more talent.
He does need more talent.
So I wasn't gonna say nothing, but I haven't wheeled with him, so I have to go with the wife's opinion.
So the last time I was in Sand Hollow, I was really super gassy, or dry, not gassy like bloated, but gassy as in I was skinny pedal gassy, right?
Right, sure.
So when I had the Gladiator, I was super heavy on the throttle, and then when I was out there with Jem last time, I was driving Jem like I was a grandma. I was like, people are like, "Come on, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming."
Come on, Bo. It's okay.
Just gotta get your back. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you're gonna get them back over Christmas break, and then we'll be ready for level 9 trails again in Sand Hollow.
Yeah, no kidding, right? So Alyssa, then when you said that, and I'm just trying to put a timeline here together that I'm not going to hold you to. You said it was like, so then I'm guessing it was like what, 3 or 4 years, almost 5, before you really started to kind of dig into the off-roading stuff.
Well, maybe
is it even later
not
than
really
that?
It is faster. I mean,
Really?
I got my truck 2 weeks later. I did Table Mesa East, and then I know I did another. Oh, then I went to Sedona a few weeks later. But after that first trail, my friend was like, "Okay, if your first purchase is going to be a skid plate," and I was like, "Cool, send me a link. I don't know what you're talking about." So he referred me to his, and I bought that one. I bought an RCI skid plate, and it's just the front one. And then he was like, "You need an air compressor because we need to air down." And I was like, "It's weird, but okay." And then it made sense after the first trail.
Yeah.
And then air it up.
Usually, it only takes one of those since one time with airing down to convince somebody of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I just didn't know it was a thing. I was like, that makes sense that we're gripping rocks better, but I never thought of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. And then I got the air compressor and a radio. He was like, "If we're going out, you need to buy this like Midland radio so we can talk." And I was like, "Okay, sure." And then I joined Facebook groups just to see like what people were talking about and try and learn, and then see if there were any like meetups around the area to get to know people. And
see if there's any meetups. You're adorable. That's hilarious.
I had no idea. Yeah. I was too scared to go out by myself, and I didn't know anyone. So I was like, I want to go with a group. Yeah. And I think my first run was out at Butcher Jones around Saguaro Lake outside of Mesa, with a group of people, and me and 2 Jeeps were in the back, and the Jeep ahead of us went faster than I did, and I lost them. And his buddy was behind me, and we both lost the entire group of like 30 people. Because they're in the area, it's just all like sandy wash with a ton of hills. And they took a trail, and there's so many little split offs. Completely lost him. And the Jeep came back and found us. And he was at the top of a hill. And he was like, you guys just have to climb. I've never climbed. He was like, you just gotta. I was like, no, I'll catch you. I'll catch you around. We never found him. But it was me and another Jeep, and it was our first times out, and we just like stuck together, and then we were like, oh, we're not finding him, and then we left.
I mean, at least you weren't by yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was the guy that had left you in the dust, was that the person who told you that you needed to get a radio?
No, it was a completely different Jeeper.
Okay.
Actually,
I just want to make sure there wasn't a prime opportunity to give somebody shit in a public forum here for telling you needed a radio and then not using it.
No, he wasn't the radio. He's super sweet. He's pretty sure he's pretty. I haven't seen him on Instagram in a bit. Oh my god, what's his page?
If you tell me afterwards, we can.
I'm going to tell you. His name is.
If you figure it out, go ahead.
I was like, I can't remember his Instagram name.
Okay.
And he builds Jeeps and Gladiators and stuff.
When you find out his name later, I will add him to the show notes. Like I'll link directly to his Instagram page. So.
Yep.
Yeah,
but
cool.
He's sweet. Whenever I see him after, the first few years, whenever I would see him randomly, like at other things, he'd be like, I am so sorry. And I was like, no, you came and found us. And then I couldn't find you. But he's a really sweet couple.
At least you weren't alone. That's the big thing. Yeah, that's the thing. Is I think there's a lot of folks, a lot of us who've been in that position where you'd be like, yeah, we just got left alone to our own devices. Like I was in the middle of fucking nowhere by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's kind of cool though that you kind of had your little partner, your little buddy to hang out with and kind of work your way back around and work your way through it. So that was good.
Mm-hmm.
At least you had that other Jeep that's in the same boat as you.
Yeah, and he was newer too. I know he had just bought his Jeep, and so he also didn't want to like try harder things either. He wasn't like forcing me to go up hills that I didn't know how to go up. So yeah, it was nice. We made it out. But yeah, that was all in 2018. And then after that, I just built little by little and met people as we went and volunteered for like desert cleanups and stuff. And that's where I met more people. And it's just kind of grown from there.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
This has been one of the, I mean, I'm 43 years old now, 44 years old now. And I've been a part of a lot of communities. I have even been, and I am not a religious person at 44 years old at all. In fact, probably the antithesis of a religious person. But there was a period of my growing up period that I was very in that camp. And some of those groups are some of the most hardcore connected groups of people that just stay connected because of their shared interest, and in that case being religion. I've followed politics for 25 years of my life, and I will tell you that the fervor around a sport around anything isn't anything like it is around the sport. When you start talking to people in that realm, they're just, everybody loves it. Everybody likes sharing with it. And with a very rare exception, most people want more people in it.
Yeah. So. Yeah. That interest or the passion. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when you started doing this, then, was it a form of therapy for you, or did you just kind of turn it into one? I mean, obviously it sounds like the physical aspect of it was just driving around helped get you active and busy.
Yeah, very much. Driving was my only, my only out, honestly. So even before my truck, before I was off-roading, I would just drive around Phoenix. Try to find local coffee shops to go to, and just driving was my outlet. And then with the truck, I was able to get out of the city. And yeah, that was my therapy. I don't have to walk a lot. And just being out in nature, whether it's the desert or the forest, like it was all really helpful. And then being with people who do have that passion, like you were saying, who also just want to get away from the city and just find that peace and that joy of off-roading and being out. Like it was all therapeutic for me.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know anybody who does off-roading that doesn't feel like it's their therapy. I think that's the beautiful thing about being in nature and testing your boundaries and your limits. And And then you're also out in the middle of nowhere, with like random people that all have the same passion and you're all taking care of each other. It's awesome.
Mhm.
There's something just therapeutic about that, like being able to like share a weird little moment in space and time that nobody else is a part of, and there's not even people near you.
It's like the person you're out with that you get stuck with on the trail. You're the only two people as the last part of a group, and all of a sudden, you still
And now
know
you have
that
this
person.
bond. Yeah.
A decade later, you run into them. You're like, "Oh, hey, it's been a long time since I've seen you. Get stuck at any trails lately, or been behind anybody who's been too slow on the road."
Right. Yeah. We're leading trails now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those are the fun conversations to have, right? Now I'm doing a podcast, and like Pope and Randy have done 25,000 hardcore miles of off-roading in the last 3 years, and I don't know. Some of us are feeling a little inadequate, is what I'm saying.
That's awesome.
Most of those were in
Dumber than
2022.
most people. We're dumber than most people.
We're back to our disposable incomes. That's the problem.
I think it's more of like we just have. I don't know what's wrong with us. That's part of it. I don't know what's wrong with us. I don't know what keeps driving us to do it because it's torture.
There's so many spots where we should have stopped. But... and we're just like, let's make another one so that when the other ones are broke, we can have one more to play with still.
Like I think that if there's anything that this experience has shown me in the last 6 months, and Alyssa, I'm looking forward to how you feel about it around June of next year, depending on how your vehicle fixes are going, about having a second vehicle for the express purpose of being a backup to the other vehicle that you're likely to screw up in some way, shape, or form. Pope and Randy are obviously on board with it. I would like something else except the Camaro to drive, because as much fun as it is, it's not any fun when it snows here.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why we don't have sports cars, because they're just no fun in 6 months out of the year.
I'll give this to the wife. She bought it before we moved to Colorado. She didn't know any better. And in Illinois, they put salt on the roads. They don't do that here. It snows and then they wait 3 days for it to hit 40 degrees. And then there you go. It's good now. Which is fine until there's a situation. There was a situation a few years ago where Denver let it go too hard, and it was really bad. It's not good. So, yeah. All right. Alyssa, this is a question I didn't put on here someplace, but what's your favorite trail out by you?
Oh, no.
Or do you have a favorite trail anywhere, I should say? Not just by you.
Oh, no. That's worse. I don't know why I didn't think this was going to be a question.
Oh, it's because I didn't put it on the sheet. You know, it's not like I gave you guys paperwork or anything ahead of time. It's like, here's the stuff we're going to talk about. We don't do any of that.
No.
This is totally spontaneous. All of it. Every last bit of it.
Even the news.
Yeah. All right. What was your most recent trail then? That one's got to be
most
one
recent
that you
trail.
Have not blown something up on recently.
Easy. My check engine light came on it.
That doesn't count. I think our check engine lights come on every trail.
My check engine light hasn't turned off since I purchased it.
Oh no!
I'm pretty sure it's just permanently on. I don't even take it seriously anymore. It's
been on for 20,000 miles.
I bought a Jeep in 2001 and I sold it 3 years ago. I still get the occasional bat signal that comes up from its dashboard. I don't even know where it is anymore.
I literally have I have the taser and I have the other thing and I check it and it tells me the same code and they said they fixed it and something. I don't know.
It's just a bad sensor.
Probably.
Yeah, it's a bad sensor. That's it. Every time they check it and I like go through moments of like I should probably care about this light and then they check it again and it's this sensor and it hasn't hurt me yet and it's been 3 years since it's turned off, so
yeah, mine is when I found out I had the vacuum seal leak. So that wasn't that one, that was on Hurrah Pass in Chicken Corners. That was in October.
Ooh. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's a great place to have that happen too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like some
Yeah.
sheer drops to get that rolling. You're never quite sure if the engine's going to start back up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily it wasn't a misfire. It was just, but it was a month, less than a month since the misfire, and that light came on, and no,
And that'll
freaking out. Something's wrong. Yeah.
It'll ruin your day too, right? Because that's all you
Yeah.
can think about for everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be stressed the
And-
whole time.
Yeah. And that trip, I forgot my code reader. I remembered, I realized I forgot it when I was an hour outside of Phoenix. And I was like, oh no. So, I was out with Jeepin and Teal, Marie. I was out
Julie.
with.
Marie, yeah.
Yeah. Marie.
Yeah, no, I tried to get Marie for the podcast too, but she said she's too busy. So, here we are.
Yeah.
Looking at you,
okay.
Marie.
I can talk to her.
All right.
She's a sweetheart.
I told her to come
She's-
on as a guest. She didn't have time to do a guest host, so that's fine.
Okay. I met her because they're from Eastern Canada, and they all trailered out to Moab, and I was like, "You're a lot closer to me now than you were in Canada. I'll come meet you." So we're out there, but her boyfriend had his code reader, but he was ahead of us by I don't know how far, but our radios weren't connecting to him. So my engine
that's a
light was
ways.
on, and I was like, "We have to find them. We have to catch up to them," and then it was fine. But yeah, gorgeous trail. That was the last one I did.
Okay.
But I don't know. There's been
That's
trails
okay.
in Idaho. There's been trails in Colorado. There's
Where
Arizona.
have you been
has
out
some
here?
Gorgeous ones.
Just like
Colorado?
the San Juan's areas, or have you been out like near Denver at all?
Yeah, in August we went outside of Denver. Oh, I don't remember the trail. We were northwest,
You were right here.
and we did a pretty easy road, very potholy, and we went up a pass to a mine, actually an old railroad track, I think, tunnel.
Rollins Pass.
Is that-
Rollins
Yeah,
Pass. Yep.
we did that, and then went back down.
Wow, look at that! I feel like a regular Colorado native. I got that after like
Yeah.
3 details about the trail. I feel awesome. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
That
I was
is
trying to
amazing.
limit how much trails in Utah that would be.
I mean, honestly, if the radius had been anywhere except Denver, I probably would have had a hard time coming up with an exact place for that, because as soon as you get it, and then you said northwest, so it had to be Coney or a
I
couple
was
of other
trying.
places. Then you said easy, and then you said railroad. I'm like, that's Rollins. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And the
There
little lake
there's
area was pretty.
Oh, it's gorgeous up there. In fact, Marcus, the guy who was on last week, he's part of the effort, part of a concerted effort to get that trail reopened as an all the way through trail. It actually connects a
Ooh.
couple of different places. I think it's Rollins Pass. It ends at an old, now collapsed train tunnel, and there's been various efforts over the years to kind of get that going again. But I think there might actually be some push to it, so we'll see what
Maybe
happens.
might do it. Yeah.
You never know.
I could.
We have
Yeah.
a lot of fun stuff like that out here. There's a lot of, actually, there's a group here called, not here in Colorado, they're actually in Idaho, Western Mining History. I actually met a couple of their field guys out here in Colorado on Democrat Mountain, of all places, a few years ago, and I actually would like to have them back here to talk about that, and talk about like the mining trails by Pope and Randy. I'm sure you've got tons of stuff by you.
You have a ton everywhere. Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some like really cool stories. Like everybody knows the big stories, all like a lot of the trails. They all know even here, Crystal Mill, right? A lot of people know Crystal Mill because they see all the pictures of it. But there are so many other stories of really cool mines and stuff here that I'd love to talk more about it with people. So cool.
That would be really cool. I could listen to all of those.
Oh, I'm gonna make you come in for some of them. So at least the Arizona ones.
Arizona ones would be cool.
Yeah. Cool. So, so we've now been talking for almost 2 hours, so I should probably start coming towards an end here. What advice would you give for anybody I mean, I've kind of talked about it in the past, but I am not dealing with the same kind of level of physical limitation. And I know you're not the only person on Instagram who has any kind of and I don't, limitation's the wrong word, but just something else to get around, right? What would be a piece of advice for somebody in that kind of a situation who's looking for as off-roading as maybe something they want to do to kind of help with that part of their lives?
No, my first thought was just to go do it. But I know it's not that easy. But
you know what? It is. Honestly, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, I think a lot of times it's, especially if you're like, and I've been, again, I'm not trying to, I don't want to put myself in the same boat as yourself, but I've been in those moments where you just kind of, there's a lot of stuff coming at you. And I don't think everybody has the wherewithal to be like, maybe I just spend a little bit of time here trying this out. Maybe I can actually push myself forward a little bit.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, with anything, just, trying to push a little forward. Okay. If for off-roading, like I know when I started, I didn't really have anyone, like I couldn't really ride passenger. I was too shy to ask. I wanted to drive, but I didn't own a truck yet. But there are places, and now I feel like there's a lot of places, like you can rent a off-road car or a side-by-side. And even if you don't want to drive, I think there's places you can go and there will be a driver for you so you can experience it. Yeah. I don't know. There's answers, there's things, and just go do it and look for support. There's a lot of pages on Facebook. It's easy to look up on, easier, I think, maybe. Or if you're looking at hashtags on Instagram. Yeah. I don't have TikTok. I don't know how easy it is to search on there. But yeah, there's communities out there.
Pope's our TikTok person, so he's the only one of us who's hip enough to still to do the young stuff kids.
I'm not good at it though. It's my following shows. I got Instagram dialed. I can't figure out how to make TikTok like me.
I've never been able to get TikTok to like me ever, and lately Instagram and I have been fighting. So hopefully we'll come back. We'll be there again. I feel the love coming around. All right. Well, I don't have. So thank you, Alyssa. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time to just kind of share your story a little bit and actually expound on this. I'm sure we'll get more time to talk to you as time goes on. Obviously, if you're back for this, we haven't scared you off completely.
Yeah. No, you're good. And there's a dog, so I will always be here.
Hades is here, and he is. Let me see here. I think I can turn this around. Hades. Let's see. He is asleep.
Oh.
Hades,
his little
come
face.
Here. Come here. You want to sit? You want to sit? Say hi. Yeah, he's a very cute dog.
Moose would be buddies with him because that dog's mouth is as big as Moose's head.
He's a 2 year, I think 2 years old, 2.5-year-old pitty mix.
Yeah, he loves pit bulls. Those are his favorite.
He likes them stupid because he's really smart, and he loves pit bulls because they're dumb and they do whatever he says.
Oh, he's pretty dumb. I'm not. He's not smart. I'm not going to try to bullshit y'all and act like he's the smartest dog ever. He can be. He can be very intelligent,
right, but that's
he's
what
very
I love
dumb.
about pit bulls. They're dumb, but they are loyal and they'll listen to you and things like that. But they're stupid as a box of rocks, and I need a stupid one because he's not. He's the hardest dog I've ever had. He's the sweetest, cutest, loveliest, everything. I mean, he's been in this vicinity. I have another one right here. My Dottie is right here. They stay in this little. They're awesome.
I tried to get I had the camera set up for him, but my computer really did not like me having that many cameras hooked up to my shit at the same time. So
seems like 2 is the max.
I have 3 going here, but it's very tenuous. It's very sketchy. And one of them is it's a whole nother offline discussion. So cool. So anyway, Alyssa, thanks so much. Guys, I don't have a hot seat question tonight. I didn't feel like we should. I didn't want to be contentious tonight. I'm tired this week. It's been a long week for me.
Sounds good.
Well, now that's
Plus,
not
we don't
fair.
have-
Can I turn it on you now? What's your favorite trail?
Oh shit! Oh, see, that's an easy one for me though.
Oh, okay.
But it's okay. I will always answer this question, and then I'll give you a bonus answer. So my favorite trail here in Colorado is Argentine Pass, and it is about an hour, 15 minutes from me, about 45 minutes from Denver. It's just outside of Georgetown, which is about 30 minutes up I-70 and 30 minutes before you get to like the Vail area and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of in between Denver and Vail. And then you get off the highway, and Argentine is one of those places that leads up an old mining road and goes up to 13,000 some feet. It's gorgeous. It's my favorite place in the whole wide world. I will go up there on a Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday morning, and I spend all day there, maybe 3 or 4 hours at the summit before I, spend an hour, come back down. Easily my favorite place in the whole wide world. My favorite trail, honestly, for all of the stuff that Moab gets for different places, different trails that it has, Porcupine Rim is my favorite trail in Moab. It's off the beaten path. It doesn't have a whole lot of people on it most days. It's got some shelf roads and some amazing views of Castle Valley. Highly recommend that one. Your Tacoma can handle it if you can handle shelf roads. So yeah, that's highly recommended.
Totally. Porcupine Rim was gorgeous, but you could totally do that.
But here's my task to you, Alyssa. Now you've got to find a question that's gonna off put me. You got to find me a question that's gonna keep me like I'm not gonna be prepared for it. I feel like because I write for Trails Off Road, I feel like I get asked that question a lot.
Yeah.
So it's kind of always kind of at the back of my head. Although I will say that the Porcupine one has really kind of come up in the last few years, especially as I've explored more out west. I really expected to find other stuff that I liked more, and Porcupine is still one I really want to go back to and see.
Porcupine is rated 5 in Moab. What do you guys rate it on Trails Off Road? Is it a 5 also?
It's a 5.
Yeah.
So, and I've had some people disagree with me on that. Some people say it's a 4 and it's not a 5.
It's not a terribly difficult trail. Most 4-wheel drive.
It's very middle of the road. Yeah.
Is it
so if you don't want to be scared to death, that's if it's not cliffhanger.
No, and that's the thing is it's not cliffhanger, it's not chicken corners, it's not a whole lot of death defying like that. That shelf road
chicken
really like
corners
a mile.
is really like just chicken corners is death defying in you're driving on those edges of the roads, but when you've been doing when we were doing what we were doing, it seems like it's just a fire road, and the scariest part is as you're going to the end where you start where people walk along the edge and go around the corner, the real chicken corner. But so Porcupine Rim probably a little bit more difficult than chicken corners, but still pretty
easy. Is it
sweet.
on the Canyonland side? I guess with the shelf roads and everything. Okay, it's not like the rolls type of side.
I feel like you're driving towards Top of the Worlds, just past. It's not. You're not all the way to Canyonlands. You're just kind of like right before that area of Canyonlands. Yeah.
No, so Porcupine is actually off of Sand. What is that? It's not Sand Hollow Road. Is it Sand Hollow Road?
No, that's down in Sand
Hollow.
It's whatever the main road is there into Finn's and Hell's Revenge and everything else.
Yeah.
Oh, it is that side.
Yeah, and you actually. You would recognize Castle Valley from 1,000 movies and TV shows because it's got the 3 spires and then the 2 spires, and that's what it looks down over. But Porcupine Rim kind of leaves that main road and then just kind of goes out on the top of a cliff. It's got canyons on either side of it. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, and it's inside that park. So if you've already paid for the thing and you go by Finn's and you're like, I don't feel like waiting there for 30 minutes to get a mile and a half. Drive a little further down Porcupine Rim. Go enjoy yourself.
It's out there. Okay.
So cool.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that's we'll go around the table then. Alyssa, you got anything else? You had a question and we got off on another tangent there and you gave us another 10 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
That's
what's
awesome.
been Randy's favorite trail?
Oh, there we go.
Probably would say currently the Maze and Sand Hollow.
That is a great trail.
Yep.
That is a great trail.
They're going to try to get us out to Sand Hollow, just so you know.
I mean, like, we love Sand Hollow. Like, really just like Sand Mountain.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
see Sand Mountain and Sand Hollow is our favorite. We love Vernal too.
But our favorite trail out there, my favorite trail right now is the Maze. I had the most fun on that. I feel like it's the perfect kind of trail for full body rigs to be able to go play around in. Maybe not full size, but like a full size Jeep or Gladiator. That's a great time on that trail. So that's why we like it. I feel like that's right at the perfect sweet spot. It's like so challenging. There's so many flexy and cool things that you do. And then, none of it's like to where you feel like your vehicle or yourself is not having fun, and I think that's why I like it.
This is his perspective. No. This is his perspective. It is an 8.
It is an 8.
Yeah.
But it's the sweet spot though, because I feel like our friends all went on that trail with us. And when they all went on the Fallen, they were all like almost tipping over. We had to have people holding their Jeeps and vehicles down to keep them from tipping on going over crazy. And then this area is just a little more tame, a little more mellow, but still challenging as hell.
Yeah.
A little more mellow. I'm describing the Maze.
So, Randy, is that your favorite then too? Is the Maze? Or are you going to name a different one?
You know what? I would say, honestly, anything in Sand Hollow, I pretty much love. Like, that's just bar none. But in Vernal, I would say, I want to call it John. It's not John Street. What is the name of that trail?
It's not Sand Dunes Gulch.
It's not that one. That one's death. Like, you just don't want to die. That was like, why can't I think of the name of the trail? But it's like my favorite. Like, it was one of the coolest trails.
Doc's Beach.
Doc's Beach.
Yeah,
I would say Doc's Beach in Vernal has my whole heart. It's like a lot of stuff. It's a lot of cool.
It's different kind of crawling because you're using gas a lot. Like,
yeah, and it's just different, but it's not like, it's not Sand Dunes Gulch. It's not the Fallen. It's not like
it's in that same sweet spot area where it's super fun to do it, and it's
most people can, as long as you have a good spotter and you understand the situation, it's not too crazy.
But like, it was so fun.
But it's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, and
see, there's
the way the trails work is the guy will say, "All right, aim your tires there and don't stop." The way you roll is by stopping there. You have to stay on the gas.
Just keep going.
And I'm like, did you say send it? All right.
No, but that would probably be one of my favorites. I would say Moab Rim. I love in Moab. Like, it's just so, I mean, when it comes to like getting your heart racing for like a mile. Yeah, like all the trails I love are like a mile long, and they're
hard.
Like,
okay, yeah.
But Moab Rim is just probably one of the most gorgeous trails. I mean, I just like being on the trail with my friends. I would say 90% of the trails that I'm like, this is my favorite trail, is because of that day was epic. I don't necessarily think it's the trail. I think it's the people that we were with, the time that it was, what happened that day. Because that same trail that could be absolutely amazing could be a nightmare another time. And so I think it's like just being on the trails. I like them all.
That's okay. That's good. That's better than the snobs of us who only like, the one between here and Vail, halfway between here and Vail. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot more cool mining ones. In fact, there's actually a lot of trails on the other side of Vail that I need to go explore, and I'm actually going to try to make that a part of 2024 or maybe 2025. So more on that later. We'll see how that goes. So cool. All right, Pope and Randy, anything that is not trail name related that you would like to close out the show with?
No.
It's just really nice to get to know you better. Like, I was really sad that last time we didn't get to know more. So it was really cool to hear your story, and I'm excited. Hopefully we get to meet you someday. That will be fun.
Yeah.
We'll go ride a trail. And And we do all kinds of trails. We're kind of the easy friends. Like, hey, do you want to go wheeling? And we're like, yeah.
Where?
Where are you going? Like, I don't really like. We do love the rock crawling part, but we love all the things. So
We like
anything you
scenic
want
and
to do,
fun
let's
trails,
go
too.
play.
We like fast trails too.
We like all of them.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Even if it is like southern Utah, northern Arizona, and even if it's something that my truck can't do, I still want to ride passenger or hang out or something. Like
I take
I'm
passenger
so open.
princesses all the time.
I also think that if we're so, I think we're gonna hit like 25, 30 episodes right around the time summer hits. Spring, early-ish spring summer hits. We're gonna have to just plan something next year. So it's either gonna have to be up by Randy and Pope, or I don't necessarily know if I want to go all the way up by Jason and them, but I feel like
I would
Grand
love to go up and see them too. Oh my gosh.
I would love to
Grand
too.
Junction would be really easy. Like
Grand
It's hard to
Junction's a
drive
good
a
spot.
Jeep all the way to Washington to go wheel.
That's the other part
he's
too.
out in
So
Washington. Oh, it's
yeah,
fun.
he's
But going
Yeah.
down to
Grand
Arizona
Junction's-
would be easier.
we would love
Arizona
to go to
would be too
Arizona.
shabby.
We've been trying to go there for a year. Like
I
last
know,
year, we were going to go during Christmas break, and then it blizzarded the whole way
And I
between
kind
here
of
and
Oh yeah, last winter was terrible out here.
there.
Terrible.
We got snow in Phoenix. It was
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
I
Well,
forgot
we were
about
supposed to
that.
come for Christmas or like over the Christmas break, and we were like driving from Salt Lake to the Sand Hollow area, like that
Mhm.
canyon is no bueno when it's
weather.
weather.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah. It's a 4-hour stretch to get to Sand Hollow from our house, and that whole stretch is not fun.
If that stretch is being snowed on, it
It's a
turns
hard
into
stretch.
a 4-hour stretch.
Yeah, I could see that.
between Beaver and Fillmore.
we've done 10-hour stretches on that road. That road can
we
be
got
a
to take 10
nightmare.
hours to get home from Vegas before.
Yeah.
For those of you listening at home, Beaver is a town. It is not just a place, or not just a
And the town
perverted
right
reference.
before it is called Fillmore, so there's Fillmore Beaver.
Yep,
Just so
trust
you
me.
guys all know.
Yeah, all right. This is my here. So here's a funny story about my beaver. A funny story about the beaver that I bought. So listen, the last time
It's like if this
I
is
showed everybody. No, it's not. It's not. It's just
I love Beaver. Cute.
It's a coffee mug. It's supposed to be like a 340 ounce one, I guess.
340 ounce.
When we stopped there because we were looking for a beer that had been advertised on the side of the highway. So we stop on our way to Vegas to get this beer. We didn't find it. We stopped on our way back from Vegas, and that's when I got told by a person working at one of the places. She's like, "Yeah, that beer doesn't actually exist. It's not a beer. It's just a water, but it's like your liquid death, and it looks like a beer. So everybody gets off the highway and go, where's the beer? Where's this beer that says Beaver on it? It's not. It's a water. It's a water company that cans it. So
That's
next time
awesome.
I go through, yeah.
Oh, I need to buy some Beaver water.
Well, the problem is I don't know if they're in business. I hope they are, but I don't. It's probably just been the side of the road, and somebody just left it out there because they thought it'd be a great tourist trap. So, all right. Well, so Ellis, again, thanks so much for joining us. Next time, so now that we've had you, during a shit show and not during a shit show, and then next time it'll be a shit show again. It'll just be we'll have Jason and the regular crew, if you will, and it'll just be a regular go around. So thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us at the Trailhead. Hope you all had a great holiday. We're signing off for our holiday. So thanks so much, everybody. See you next time at the Trailhead.
Bye.
Bye guys. Have a great
See you
night.
later.
Thanks a lot.
Have a good night.
Yep.